Well, this morning let's work on this Bonniwa. This one was made last year, and I think we've seen it once or twice already this year. It's been about 2 months since the last time I worked on this, and look what happened. All this big random growth. Well, what happens with Bonniwa is the plant have a lot more space to grow. So in this, we only have one tree and a little bush and all this space, so it grows very vigorously. Well, before getting started, let's go ahead and take a look. Doesn't matter front or back, it just grew wild. Well, if you're trying to make good bonsai, making it grow fast and trimming it will get you to the finish much better than if it was kind of anemic. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to go ahead and get started. First step is quite obvious. All these random growth that came up, just go ahead and remove it, right? I tend to do this way, just kind of do this very quickly and kind of start to see the original form again, and then we'll go down into it and do more detail. You notice the ones that I just cut off was more vigorous. Well, maple tend to be top growers, so they send out really strong shoots up on top. Well, you know, in bonsai we try to put this triangle or the cone shape, but the natural tendency of the maple is to become a canopy. So it's much stronger up there. So we're going to be working really detailed work in here because it just ended up too much. And if we don't take care of this, you'll end up with a bulge. Well, anyway, I'll go ahead and trim some more. See what happens with maples, they want to grow heavier on top. They're top growers. And so they're trying to become a canopy. Yeah, we want to try to make it like an informal upright with a point. So all this stuff here needs to be cleaned out, or if you keep too many of them in place, you'll end up with a bulge. So we're gonna go in here now that, you know, this random growth is taken care of, we start detailing now. And gotta be very careful up on top though, you don't lose the apex. Actually, I probably should shut off the camera and get in there and study this, because a lot of times when I'm shooting these videos, I don't see what I need to look at, and we gotta, oops. So anyway, I'm gonna study this in detail and then I'll get back to you. Okay, I'm gonna see, I don't know whether you could see or not. I've been having problem with really tight close-ups. Sometimes you notice that some of the videos, it's not focused. This autofocus, I think, gets tricked sometime. And so I'm thinking going over here this way, and see it forked off and it's already starting to bulge. So am I going to go this way or that way? And then probably go that way, except that I had to get my other pruner. Kind of the same thing here. There's one going up this way and then a big one going down. The angle is better, so I'm going to take this off, and then there's a smaller one and a bigger one, and up here the smaller one's better, so we do it like that, right? So yeah, so I had to cut this, keep going down here. You see these that's going straight up, we'll get rid of that. And Tridents, you know, you can wire these, but what happens is they're such a rapid grower that if you're not on top of it, you end up with damage. And most of the time, well, putting on the wire is kind of fun, but remembering to take it off, it requires discipline, and most people can't get to it in time. That's why I quit using wire in the first place. Yeah, when I first started, I did use wire like everybody else, but then I realized, hey, it's taking time and doing damage. So I found different ways to keep shaping. Now today is middle of September, so that rapid regrowth may not be here. So I should kind of watch that I don't over prune. So your pruning style will differ depending on time of the year and the species, right? Oh, remember my juniper, the big juniper that I did last fall, and it took forever to recover because I should have listened to my own advice and not do that in the fall. You know, it's easy to get advice, but hard to follow yourself. Okay, coming up here. See this one here? I think this just came on. Yeah, you could tell by the growth pattern and the color. This thing just came on, and it was not necessary, right? And then, so if you carefully study your tree, the growth habit, and then once you understand that, just cut off the ones that are going in the direction that you don't want, then it's all done, right? So it does require a little bit more effort than to slap on a wire, but in the long run, you have no damage, and you could save time. So, yeah, I mean, think of wire as one of the techniques. So don't go grabbing the wire every time. If sometimes you really have to use it. But most of the time, you could get by if you learn how to go with the flow of the tree. So I'm gonna go get the right tool and then take care of the top. Okay, I got the right tool, and then I'm gonna go that way, right? Because all the emphasis should go that way. If it was this, then we save this side, but we go ahead and take that off. And then now it's pointing in that direction, and we will now have the bulge that it could have had if we kept that long time. Let's study or discuss our secondary plant. This is just a variegated sedge plant. Some of these are getting long and turn brown on the tip. Just go and pull them out. Yeah, in landscape, they take a head shear and shear this thing, and it's not very natural. So what you do is, if it's not the right one, you just pull it. And then like at the bottom, it'll look better if these were pulled out. See? Once again, it's tedious, but it's very natural looking when we get done. No shear necessary, just pull. Now, at a certain point, these get removed, divided, and then put back. Well, especially in Bonniwa, we got so much fresh soil, these want to grow big. So normally, I have these things growing in 2-inch pot, so they're more or less root bound, and it keeps it in proportion. But then once you put it in here, it gets very vigorous and poof, and out of scale. But for the first couple of years, all you need to do is just keep pulling like this. See how it's coming together? Very simple. Well, a lot of this is simple but tedious, and I'm not that patient. Well, when you're in the commercial aspect of the bonsai, you can't afford to be absolutely perfect. You can't get the work done. Well, at one point I had over 10,000 plants. I'm down to 2. And then I don't know how I got by when I had 10,000, because I was still working alone. Well, except remember my cat, Panther? She was not much of a help. Well, now I got a little doggy. Yeah, you'll probably see her from time to time, Jackie. Well, she just showed up one day and decided she's gonna stay. So I've been feeding her, and she's a good dog. Okay, so see how it's starting to come together? And then just keep plucking these bigger ones. And look at all these really nice, small, more proportional. So I'll go ahead and finish that up, and then let's get to the finish. Well, I think I'm done with this for this go around. Now, the Trident Maple looks like a miniature tree rather than what was that big bush or some crazy thing. The value on this Bonniwa is in the rocks. I think these were left over from my uncle. I don't know where he got them, but it worked so well. The tree was nice, but you could see that it's not the main feature of this presentation, right? So that's one thing about Bonniwa. And you know, this lantern here, doesn't it remind you of Ishizukuri? Well, actually, I've been doing this Ishizukuri thing forever. I just never coined it. Today is the middle of September. So what I'm thinking is, for this to look better, it should have a chance to grow back a little bit, because it looks like it's been pruned, which was, looking back at what it looked like, right? Okay, so hopefully it'll grow back so that it has the shape, but look more natural than just being pruned. The moss could be better. I was going to try to patch it, but it's a little bit early. It's been hot and dry, starting to cool off now. Once it starts to get cooler and maybe get some moisture, then we'll have plenty of moss to cover it up. So hopefully by the time that we get to the holiday season, I'll have these ready. But you could see, well, there's a lot of things that could get done, but you could see how it got maintained so that it keeps the proportion, right? And that's the basic with the Japanese garden or the Bonniwa, trying to get the whole thing as a presentation, not just one tree. So this one works really well because of the rocks, and then the main tree and the complementary grass. So anyway, this has been the Bonniwa in need of pruning in September. So hopefully we'll grow back some. And with luck, we'll see if the trident will change color. Tridents could be anywhere from yellow to orange or even maroon. So those are the things that we don't know till it happens. So anyway, this is Hiro saying goodbye. I'll see you again real soon in another chapter. So this has been the Bonniwa all natural stones.